leave this be right now. So our cool and pressure sensor, we're going to ignore this. We're not going to worry about it. I am going to be going in here. Let's close this. But we are going to jump into our crankcase pressure we don't have, or exhaust pressure we do have. Now this is a 5-bar map sensor. So we're going to select this and say OK. We can see that it's showing us approximately 100 kPa. It's been scaled correctly. We're going to make sure that we select here, exhaust pressure sensor installed. We click this box so that it knows that it's installed, and if we want to use it for our calculations, there's going to be a way that we can use it for fuel calculations. We're not going to do that, but we're going to just check it to make sure that it knows it's installed, and we'll be able to log it correctly. This is going to be something that we want to keep an eye on when we take a look at our boost control. It's going to be guiding us and telling us if our exhaust pressure gets too high, we're going to have to really start to crank our duty cycle up to try to get the boost that we want, and we'll be able to see it directly from what we're logging here. And we can also set up a target table or a compensation table for a duty cycle based on exhaust pressure. So as the exhaust pressure goes up, we have to add more duty cycle to try to compensate, and we could go ahead and utilize this. There's a whole bunch of things we could do with this. Let's make sure we set it up here. So analog 11 is going to be set up here for exhaust pressure. Our Lambda input, we have our onboard Lambda sensor, so there's nothing complicated about that. Our gear ratio, for our gear position input setup, we're going to be using gear ratio off the gear ratio calculation. We can see there's a couple options. So this is going to be looking up the engine RPM and the vehicle speed. We're going to be calibrating this a little bit later in the video. Okay, so let's go into our mode switch input setup. This is going to be our AEM trim pot that we have installed on our vehicle. So it's going to be that 12 position trim pot. We need to set this up. Let's go in here. Let's actually just open the whole screen up so it's a little bit easier to work with. Now our mode switch, 0 to 5 volt analog input selection. This is going to be on analog 19. So that's where we've wired our trim pot into. Let's select it. That's going to be different for every vehicle, but this particular vehicle, it's on analog 19. Now let's go check our status here. In our table, we can see we're going to have a voltage coming from our trim pot, and it's going to have a position or lookup position that we need to be corresponding to. Let me turn my trim pot all the way down. We're going to see on the off position, it's going to be showing me approximately roll of 0 volt, or scaled here of approximately 0. We need to go through every click position and make sure it's going to be referencing this properly here and biasing as close to the actual position that we're trying to command here. So let's go here. Our first click position, we can see 0.53. That's biasing 1.2. That's because it's going in between these two data points here. Let's be a little bit more specific. Let's click on this point right here. Let's type in 0.53. We're going to find that it's scaled now of 99. That's a little bit closer. We could probably just kind of keep tweaking the values here just a little bit. Let's do 0.52. We can see it's going to be kind of splitting hairs, so let's go 0.53. That's close enough. Let's go to our next click position. This is going to be showing 2.23. So we'll go here and jump in. We'll set this to 1.0. And let's try 1.01. Let's go ahead here, try 1.01. Now we can see it's approximately 2. Let's go to our next click position here. We can see this is going to be 1.48. So we're going to go type in here, 1.48. We can see that it's going to be pretty much nailed down here in our scale position of 3. Next click position, 1.193. Let's go ahead and change this, 193. We can see it's scaled at 4. So we want to be, when we're commanding